Hello, my friends. Happy Feral Monday. Are we ready? I'm thinking I want to use black eyeshadow. And I want to use gold eyeshadow. And I think I want a cut crease. I do. I think I want to do an extreme holiday look. What you're seeing me look down at is I'm putting my rings back on. I put a bunch of hair gel in my hair and I didn't want the hair gel in my rings. Since it's Feral Monday, I'm going to use two palettes, but only because I needed a black one and this one doesn't have black, but this has all the goldy goodness that I'm after. But then I'm going to say something pretty wild, okay? This is probably one of my all-time, it is one of my all-time favorite cool toned eyeshadow palettes. It is so good. So if you're thinking of getting a palette, a cool tone palette, maybe put it on your holiday wish list, this is the one I would put on there. I love this palette and have for years. But then we need this one today because I'm going after the more warm gold tones. I do love this one as well. But as you can see, I don't use this one as much. Not that it's not quality and wonderful and delightful. I don't tend to reach for it, but it is really, really pretty. And we're going to use it today because I really do like it. So I need to remind myself to use it. So let's give a little bit more of a fresh feel to our cut crease today. So if you've ever noticed, sometimes I like to use a very full coverage eyeshadow base. And then sometimes I like to use a base that is transparent. I think it'll feel a little fresh, a little different if we use a base that's transparent today. And the reason why is because for me, this might not be for you, but for me, the way that I used to think I could only do a cut crease was to have an extremely full coverage eyeshadow base. But I like to rethink things. We can add coverage later. But right now, let's use a base that is completely transparent. This one from Sephora collection is really nice because it stays pretty tacky. And tacky grabs pigment and makes it more intense. But it is important to get it very even across the lid. Now, I have several techniques that I do when I do a cut crease, but there's not just one way. I find I'm going to do it a little bit more beginner friendly, and why it would be considered more beginner friendly is a lot of times I'll just start with the black and then I'll kind of layer and layer and layer and layer and get lighter and lighter and lighter and transition upwards. But that can also be a little bit difficult to start with the black. Not for everyone. We all obviously our brain understands different techniques differently. Love that about makeup. But let's grab this shade. So this one isn't black, but this is going to be our darkest shade before the black. So small brush, I highly recommend a small brush for our cut crease. Stamp, and then what I don't want you to do is don't even think about your lid. Don't even worry about that. I feel like that is where we get confused. And I say that because a lot of the times we're really focusing on getting that perfection right at first. That is going to take you so long, and then you might even just wind up messing up. So I'm picking up more of that shade and we're just stamping that. And I also mentioned a small brush because it is going to still kind of give us the idea of the shape. A fluffy brush isn't going to be able to get in here and really add the color very intensely. But a small brush gives you that pigment that you need at first. And obviously the eye area tends to be a small area, so starting with a small brush is never a bad idea. But what we're not gonna do, we're not gonna worry about any of that. None of it. But we want to start to stamp and bring that out towards the brow. So that is our rough draft right there. By the way, I don't know if a lot of y'all saw, you might not have, the D2, this brush is now available. You can use it as a baton too. Okay, well, I can't, but maybe you can. Yeah, just a quick reminder, this brush is now available as of last Thursday. Now we're gonna have to give just a little hair of credit to the E27 because anytime you have an angle, it's so much easier to start to create that shape. Ooh, did you see that? Perfection. We're gonna blend the top in, we're gonna walk through this, but it is so much easier to create. And I mean, gonna add just a hair. Don't forget that we do have our special blend of fibers, so this isn't just another brush. All right, now let's start on this side. We got it all ready. I like to start here. I just feel like it's so much easier to start on kind of the middle outer part. I'm telling y'all, I really like that 𝗕𝗏𝘂𝘁𝗄𝗏 eyeshadow base. It's really nice. I have so much more real estate right now because this bun. Just keep packing it on there and bring it over this way. And it's important to pack right now too. And packing is where you're just pressing and pressing and pressing and building that color. They don't even need to be even. Just kind of get a rough shape there. But what I am doing is making sure that the color is even kind of in this deepest part here. And then essentially the idea is to just start getting lighter and lighter and lighter as you get towards the brow bone. I don't know why, but for me, a cut crease was so confusing for so long. But remember, this is the color we used. So then you're thinking, well, now what color do we use next? You just want to go about 2 shades lighter. So let's hop over here. See how close those are? It's basically just the same thing, different font. Boom, that's where we're gonna go. We're gonna pick it up still in the center. And now we're ready. All right, so then you just place your eyeshadow palette on your shoulder like a little parrot. You don't have to do that. Oh, I don't know why I do that. Actually, I do. I think it's because I know I have to pick it right back up, so I kind of just let it rest there. Now what we're doing is we're transitioning this color. And I'm gonna just pick up, I actually pick up smaller amounts of this color now. I've lost the color. The color, okay, I found it. But you can see that it's starting to transition. And I'm gonna try to not let this creep up quite as much. And by creep up, I mean go too far up this way. Just keep tapping. And if you're tapping it into that very first color, they're kind of gonna become friends. And you can see that they start to transition beautifully, and look at how melted right through there. Don't look at anything else. Focus on that. Everything else we can fix later. All right, I was recording and then it got wild, but we still have this side. So I was saying, remember, we were here. This is where we were. Oh my God, let's get there. We're not there yet. I'm excited. Okay. So we were here. Now we need to go a little bit lighter. And the reason I chose this palette is because they're kind of all in the same family. So in the same undertone family, I should say. So we want something a little bit lighter. So that's where we were. This right here, the bottom, that's where we're going. So that's going to be perfect. I already have a little bit going here. It looks awful. The blend's awful, but that's not what we're looking at. We're learning the transitions right now. So now we're getting to the flatter part of the eye area. Now, if you have a smaller eye, it's gonna be easier to work here in the center. But because I have so much lid space right now from this very tight bun, instead of the middle, I'm gonna use the side of it and start to transition that above, since it's flat. Now, I feel like powder foundation is such a helpful tool, and it just depends on what brush you're gonna use with it. I'm gonna grab our D2. I'm so happy it's out. And so many of you already got it and you're loving it, and it's warming my heart. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna take this, and this is kind of gonna be my final smooth up top. And the reason I'm using a dense brush is because we're gonna get more coverage. See, this is the stuff I wish somebody would have told me. Why are you using that brush? I remember I used to hear artists say, no, grab a fluffy brush. And I used to think, why? Help. I don't even know what that does. So anytime you have a dense brush, you're just gonna get more coverage out of whatever you're using. I'm focusing most of it on my brow bone, and then I'll tap it into the blend. So while I'm blending this side, I wanna know, what temperature is it where you live right now? The last time I checked, it was almost 70 degrees Fahrenheit outside right now. I'm wearing this just because I'm used to wearing it. Do I need it? No. It is summertime outside. I'm not joking. You can swim right now. You just go to the beach. Just get on down there. So I'm gonna take a little hair of micellar water on an E29. Remember, it's super fluffy, so it's not gonna take too much away. And I'm already just gonna clean that up right there. And this is really easy to do, especially when you use a clear base. Nice. Now let's get our black eyeshadow going. Something I wish that I would have known earlier is tiny detail brush for black eyeshadow, because black eyeshadow wants to collaborate intensely with the rest of your eyeshadow. And then we also want it to peek out a little bit. Look at this difference already. Now don't worry about it here, okay? I'm just doing it dramatically to show you where to not worry about it. Where you worry about the shape is on the top part. So we can just come back in a minute and barely tap it back in. I'm gonna tilt my head back. And then we want it to come out just a hair. And when I say come out, I mean out of the socket so it's visible. If we just hide it in here, it's not gonna make any difference. So we just want it to come out a little bit, and that's what's actually gonna shape the eye. Alrighty, we're gonna just keep shading this. I'm gonna hold the brush a little further back. Just gives us a little bit more flow. See how it's just barely peeking out when you relax? That's what we're after. But I am gonna build it up a little bit more. It's such a good black eyeshadow, especially for being in a very large palette. A lot of times the quality isn't always as good when you get a much larger palette, but I just love that palette, the Stone Cold Fox one. There we go. We're still a mess. Let's take the E26, and I'm just going to ever so lightly soften the edges, because you still want the definition from the black. The black is there to really create the shape, but you do want it to ever so lightly melt into the rest of the transitions. I should say the very first transition you laid down. Obviously we don't want it to come up to here. I'm just gonna watch you melt and see how I melt it. I'm kind of just doing little tiny flicks upwards. We're starting to see that blend in right now. It's time. It's time for things to come together. I will say, look at how clean that stayed right there. Remember, I haven't cleaned that up. All right, C30. Now I will say, it's just gonna be easier to clean up. A lot of times, especially with people that stumble upon my page that aren't here every single day, I feel like it does feel wasteful, but it's such a small amount that I don't want you to ever worry about putting eyeshadow base all over, because this is just the best way to get a very tidy lid space. Because the amount of eyeshadow base we're gonna put back is just, it's so minuscule. Okay, we are getting the Christmas jam here. Isn't that satisfying to watch? I'm just gonna keep carving it so you can see what we're doing. And then I'm wiping it on 𝗕𝗲, any excess. And then, do you see how intense the black line looks? I feel like that's another little tip. Fun. All right, back with our eyeshadow primer. We just need a whisper. There we go. Just grab the other end of this. D2, make sure it's really nice and smooth on there. And then obviously the angle, you get really nice precision. So it can go all the way up to the crease, I should say. Actually, before we do the gold, let's do our liner. And the reason why is because I don't mind if the liner creeps on a certain part of it, but putting this on top of this intense of a shimmer is going, here, I'll show you. Actually, I don't want to show you with this brush because it'll get messy. Hang on, I'll show you with this one. I had another E26 right here. So what can happen is when we start to put this over, see how it's starting to kind of mix together and dull the black, and then the black isn't as intense. So let's do it before. But I also have this idea of cascade, which we'll have to get to in a second. And I also, I'll just do it that way. I kind of wanted to connect it, but I feel like I've done connected cut creases, and connected just means that way right there. I've done that a couple times. So let's just do the liner the way we normally do. By the way, this sold out on our website, but there are just a few left on our Amazon. I'm gonna go get you the link for that. And I feel that even myself, I was like, oh, I'll just grab a pen, because sometimes we think it's tedious to have two tools when you can just grab a pen. This is so much easier. And now I'm 36, my eyes, I know right now, yes, there's no hood in sight because I have a bun holding back years and years on my face. But this is just so much easier. It's so much easier to use a bent liner brush like this and go over folds, and you can even see how easy it is just to keep really close to the lash line. So even myself, remember when I was using the Valentino liner? I love that liner, but I feel like this is easier. Putting black on top of the gold is going to muddy. But if we put the gold on top of the black, it's going to intensify because it's a more jewel-esque tone situation. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to really thicken up this outer part here. And it doesn't even matter if it's perfect on the top part. We're about to cover that. All right, perfect. I know, looks wild. Gold's gonna go on top, but it's also gonna look different on the more naked skin part. It's gonna be cool, I promise. Now, we do want this to dry down a little bit because it could make it muddy. So we want that liner to completely dry down. Alrighty, it's time for this. Oh, this gold is good. I will say, if you don't wanna buy, if you already have this, but you want a really good gold eyeshadow, Kiko Milano water shadows. Probably some of my favorite golds ever, even more than this gold. I just wanted to use entire palettes, even though I had to palette hop. I'm allowed to do that on Mondays, but I love the idea of just being able to buy one gold shadow as opposed to buying a big palette for one shadow. All right, we got our C30. Because we're gonna get that nice precision. And I need precision here because I don't want to go on top of the black yet. Honestly, this video alone would sell this brush to me. That precision and the way that the fibers are releasing the product only where I have pressure. Now, we still need our precision. So I'm gonna continue it over this way. Now I'm not going to take it all the way to the root, but we can start to feather it on top of the black eyeshadow. Don't take it all the way down here. Actually, do whatever you want. I'm just saying I'm not going to take it all the way down because I still want it to be nice and dark at the root. But I wanted to put a little bit on top of the black. fun. I'm gonna grab lashes in just a second, but I wanted to see if this Dior stick will match me now. I feel like it's gonna match a lot better since I'm not as tan right now. That being said, I prefer the 𝗕𝗂𝘂 over this one. I feel like this one is very, very, very wet, and that always can lend itself to makeup not wearing as well on a lot of skin types. I feel that if you have very dry skin, you would like this. I'm balanced to dry. I'm a little bit more dry because I've been traveling. But that being said, I like this, but not enough for me to go, yeah, y'all should try this. If you have been wanting to try it and you can just go grab it because it's very spicy priced, you might enjoy it, but I want to be very mindful and not hype it. I'm only using it because it is going to match me now, and I bought it. All right, so this is, again, what shade is this? 2CR. I will say that the range is all wild. I had to buy 2 shades initially. So I just find that if you have to buy 2 shades of something this expensive, that's not the way to go. Yes, it's going to melt in. It's going to look beautiful. But if you already have a foundation that you're enjoying, I promise you this one isn't just jump up and scream and run and spend, I think it's over $50. So, and again, I'm wearing it because it's pretty, yes, but I bought it, I'm gonna use it. Oh, I guess that would be a good way to put it. Would I repurchase it? No. We can finish putting it on together. I do want you to notice that I'm not putting it underneath my eye because I already know that I'm gonna do corrector. I'm actually gonna do a brightener. I'm gonna hop off and film a pink brightener. So I thought that would be fun. I kind of want to do a comparison of the brightener underneath and the brightener on top. Oh, the chipmunks. But I thought we'd watch this blend out together. One thing I will say is the C42 is C42ing. The way that it evenly blends out foundation just with these little pounces, oh, there's nothing like it. My favorite foundation stick was, though, the Tom Ford one. And of course, they're discontinuing that. You can still find a few shades, but most of them are gone. It's very sad. E29. Picking up a little bit of that foundation. I'm gonna buff it through here. And then for extra coverage, I'm just gonna grab the powder foundation and grab it on the side, and I'm just gonna kind of set through here. Look how smooth that looks. All right, now I'll be right back. I'm gonna go film that comparison. All right, we're back. We're gonna finish up our face. I did add my Lily lashes. I literally just put them on. And then I'm looking for my lash tweezers. I'm gonna continue to really press them into my lash line here. I have an in-depth lash tutorial on my saved highlights if you wanna go search for that. These are the Style Go-Getter. Nice. Let's make sure they're nice and floofy. Remember when I said it was 70? I lied. 77. Look at this. Look at this weather. And it's super sunny. The sun came out. It is honestly summertime outside. It's fantastic. It is supposed to get into the 40s at night for a couple days, and then it gets warm again. We'll see. We'll see. Thanks for putting up with my weather chat. I love the weather. Natasha Denona concealer. I'll post that tonight, so you'll just see everything I use. But that's what I used, and then you'll see the corrector. The powder is 𝗂𝘁. Look at that little dent. Ooh, I love this stuff. The other day, I showed the difference between the Gucci bronzer and the YSL, and I talked about kind of what I've been doing, but this is a glam moment. So we're gonna use the Gucci bronzer today, and a lot of you really liked it, and I do too. So we might start using it for our more glam looks. And it's hair washing day. Oh my goodness. Too much. When it's hair washing day, bronzer can go into the hair. For me. Don't ever feel like you need to do that. That's me being a little silly, but I do like to, if I'm being not silly, I do like it to melt into the hairline just a little bit, but I never want you to feel like that's the only way to do it. Well, let's give it a little tap on the edges because only my under eye is set. Nothing else is set. Just give it a little tap at a tap. I don't go directly on it because if I go directly on it, even kind of moving foundation too much onto a bronzer can make it turn a little gray. And when it turns gray, that's where we would say the term muddy. So if you ever wonder what muddy means, it usually just means dull and gray when it shouldn't. It's not that that's bad. It's just that a bronzer typically is very warm. And that's what we're after. So I'm going to set, but I'm going to set with the D2. It's going to give us a little bit more coverage than, say, the D1, which will be coming very soon. Remember, anytime you have fluff, you're going to have less of a set. I want a little bit more of a set, but I don't want the set of a puff. Also, I'm going to finish kind of sculpting this out with the powder. So I'm going to get more out of the powder with the density of this brush. Look how nice that looks. That's delightful. All right, I want to press it here. I'm going to press it here. Now I did set with a puff underneath my eye. And you'll see why when you watch the video later. Because I used more product than usual. That's why. Let's watch this sculpt again. I know a lot of times we even think a round brush, we're not going to be able to get a sculpt. But you absolutely can. Picking out more of it. Perfect. And then I kind of just go around the bronzer, pressing it into the skin. Anytime you have a powder, press, 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 press. I know that we want to buff and we want to swipe, but sometimes that doesn't get the powder into the makeup that's on our face, and then that could mean creasing later. So press it in. That helps with longevity, and it's what gives that more airbrush look to the face. I feel like my notes app is a treasure trove that I could write a book already, right this second, just off of the daggum notes and all the things that come to me when I'm sitting here doing my makeup. I love makeup. Now for underneath my eye, look how easy this is. I'm gonna link this particular shade. I feel like it would look nice on an array of skin tones. I really do. But this is what I love, okay? I need an E28. You know, we have fun. Until we don't have fun and can't find a brush. All right, E28 brush. And just look at how easily that just smudges. And our under eye is done. I should say our bottom lash line. It's just so smoky and so perfect. This is what I've been reaching for to do that. It's just so easy. I want to film one more video. I haven't been trying as much new stuff because I've been traveling so much, but MAC has these new cream blushes. I'm gonna at least show you one here, but I do want to go film kind of a first impression video, and I'm gonna swatch it. I already have it on my hand, but I want you to watch kind of everything going on. Look at how wet it is. I'm curious. Okay, that's initially what I did, but I didn't do as big as of swatch. It dries down really quickly. Still feels a little tacky, but it doesn't feel wet. It doesn't feel as wet as it looks there. So technically y'all are getting the first impression, but it's really pretty. Feels like it dries down. We shall see. I'll be right back. I like it. I'm just gonna let y'all in because you're literally my family. I like it a lot. And the reason why is because I set it. Okay, there's powder. And since it's metallic, we finally got metallics right. They're not making me look gray. They are actually giving me glow. Set glow. There's, like I said, there's powder. Put in the kosas. There's the, look at that. And it just comes right through. I'm into it. MAC did it again. I like the color too. You definitely have to build up the color, but obviously this color, I wonder if there's more colors than just these three. I use this more coral shade, but I wonder if there's more shades than just the three. Either way, maybe they'll add more because I feel like sometimes they test these holiday shades to see if people even like the formula and then they add more. Me and this gold liner from Kiko Milano have become best friends. I love it so much. I reach for it anytime that I can. I just feel like it makes my eyes look really pretty and honey. These are slept on. Look what I bought. For no good reason. Didn't need it. So this is kind of cool though. So it's a liquid lip. I know, but it's kind of, I did swatch it, so, but I haven't put it on. So let's put it on together. We can add a lip liner later. It says that it's buildable too. And I bought it on the website. I saw it in store and it was sold out there and I was like, if I think about it again, I'll go get it. Or I'll order it. That's all I could think about. Pink sparkles. That's all I could think about. I did research it a little bit more. I thought it was a gloss, but it's a lipstick that doesn't transfer. We shall see. And then before it sets, I feel like it's a little patchy. It does say you can layer it, but I feel like with liquid lipsticks, yeah. It is very comfortable. And I am able to kind of work out the patchiness. I still feel like it's a little bit, it kind of still reminds me of a lip stain. I'm not against it, but I'm just very careful. I'm not here to gasp and scream about everything and how wonderful it is immediately. I kind of want to do a darker lip liner with it. Let's try this color with it. I like that color with it. Unexpected. And I paid over $50 with this. So that's why I just don't want you to feel like, oh. It feels super comfortable though. Okay, this is cool. It's kind of just, you can see it's not the color, it's just kind of the moisture that transfers, which is really cool. That's really cool. But I wish it was just a little bit more, maybe I'm being picky because I know that we're spending hard-earned dollars on this. So I don't want to just hype it up. Am I going to use it? Yes, I am. I do think it's very pretty, but I do think that it's just a little hair patchy. I'm going to see if we can layer it. It'll probably transfer just a little bit. I'm actually going to wipe just a little bit off of the wand and just kind of layer it up a hair. We'll see what happens. Now, while this is drying, I do feel like this combo is so holiday. I do like the combo. It's not dry yet. I do have a feeling it's going to transfer a little bit. I don't think it's going to mess with the wear time too much, but it's just not going to be as impactful. But we're going to let it dry. Let it dry. All right. Not bad. Not bad at all. Now we do have to layer it. I will say on the site, it does say that you can layer it up. I feel that it was a little patchy. Now it's good. I really do like it. I'm happy that I got it, but I do feel that I just always want to be mindful and not hype up these super spicy price things. I'm careful. It's expensive. But I like it, and I'm very happy I purchased it, and I'm excited to wear it. Let's grab this shade to be our inner corner highlight on our E27. I love inner corner highlight. I loved it so much I designed a brush for it. All right, my friends, we are done. We finished. I like this. This was fun. Thank you for letting me do this. We have fun here. We do. I do have to travel on Wednesday, but I don't leave till later in the day, so we should be good on tutorials. I think the only day that I wouldn't be able to do one is Friday. Yeah, because I think I could even do one Thursday. I'll try my best, obviously. We're going to Atlanta for the Rose and Ben Beauty, 𝗕𝗵𝘂 Beauty, 𝗕𝗵𝘂 International Christmas party. So yeah, it's gonna be really, really fun. I'm looking forward to the big company party. And by big, I mean not really that big at all. I love y'all so much. So thanks for chatting about the weather with me. It's my favorite. My favorite after makeup, of course. Makeup and weather, it's what I like to chat about. All right, I love y'all so much. I'm gonna post tonight and I'll see you there.